let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the 2023 Industry Insights for STEM Scientists Pitch Competition and Finale. My name is Joanne. I'm the Program Director for Graduate Professional Success for STEM PhDs and postdocs, GPS STEM for short, here at UC Irvine. Before we get into all of this, actually, I will pass it to our course instructor, Chris Halliway, if you want to come up here.
Thank you all for staying with us for 8 weeks and for coming today, and we're really excited about it. I really appreciate it. Just for the participation. So I'm Chris Halliwell, and I'm the instructor for the Industry Insights for STEM Sciences course. This course is a passion for me because in over 30 plus years of working in tech industries, I personally have seen the value of creative and strategic PhDs to the success of the business, how critical it is. Oh, good. We have Matt. Hi, Matt. Come on and join us up here when you get your food. Okay. Oh, you're here for the cookies and then you're going to leave? Oh, okay. Okay. It's really, that's why I've been behind this course ever since they let me start participating, because I worked for a long time at Caltech in a similar program where we were preparing PhDs to get out into the business world. And so it's a belief of mine that you guys have a lot to give. And I'm so happy that you came just to get basic business vocabulary and a way of thinking. So that's what the Industry Insights course was all about. The team that makes this course happen is comprised of myself. And I want to talk about Professor Fruman up there. He is the academic director of the overall Graduate Professional Success program here at UCI. And it's just terrific because the guidance that you bring and the perspective that you bring with a very light touch, which for my personality is critical, but with all the support we could ever need. So I really appreciate that. And it's been very effective, I think, in making it a good course. And then Joanne Lee, who was just up here, and most of you know Joanne, she's been indispensable for not only the fact that everything is seamless and smooth and operates well, but also that it's relevant, because Joanne is a newly minted PhD here from UCI and also has startup experience. So, and actually Joanne and I went through NSF Corps together. So it's been a great collaboration with the two of us, and you've added so much to everything that you've done for the course. So thank you so much. And then last but not least is the Beal Applied Innovation here at the Cove, where you are. Particularly our champion back there, Matt Hansen, and now we've roped other people in, Matt Lee, so be prepared to be annoyed again. Matt's always ready to jump in and provide insight, and you all know he's coming. He spoke to the class several times, and it just makes everything more meaningful and enjoyable with all of this participation. So Joanne will go into deeper introductions of our judges and our sponsors, and we particularly thank SoCal Bio, so you'll learn more about that in a second. But I think we're going to have a fun day, and I can't wait to see what you guys have prepared. And let's just get started. So, oh, one last thing. No, come on. Oh, David, do you want to say something? Yeah. One last thing. I am going to LAX and have a flight, and I'm a little bit nervous about that. So we're going to try to stay on time, partly for that reason, and just partly because it's good hygiene. But if I don't get to say goodbye to everybody, I just want you to know how great it's been and how enjoyable for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And I don't want to take too much time because we have more important things to talk about. Two quick things. One is, of all the things we do in GPS STEM, this is one of my favorites, and I always look forward to this event and hear about the ideas you have and the business pitches. And the second is, this course has evolved over the years, and you never know when you come to a workshop what went into planning it, and had many meetings over the years as this evolved with Matt Hansen, previous presenters, and Chris over the last few years, Joanne. And it does take a lot of work to develop this and to refine it and to listen to trainee feedback. And I think we delivered a really wonderful experience, I hope, for all of you. And I look forward to hearing your pitches today. Thanks again to Chris, Matt, Joanne, and everybody else who's involved.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, David. First, I really want to acknowledge our sponsors and our partners today, in particular, ULP for University Lab Partners for sponsoring one of our gift bags, and SoCal Bio for sponsoring today's food and prizes. If you haven't heard about SoCal Bio's mission is to advance the growth and development of the Southern California life sciences industry by providing leadership, advocacy, and support to their members. Through their efforts, they aim to improve the health and well-being of people everywhere while driving economic growth and prosperity in Southern California. Thank you, SoCal Bio. All right, so moving on to what to expect today, we have 6 pitches from our GPS STEM program trainees. They've been working on this throughout the 8-week program that we've had, and they've been learning about the business model canvas and the application in industry as well as business development. We have our teams in terms of about a 12-minute presentation. I do have a timer at the front for you, so you can keep track of where you are. It's about 7 to 10 minutes of presentation and 2 to 3 minutes of Q&A, 12 minutes max. For our judging, they are judged based off of 5 criteria, including use of terminology, examples, cohesion of their story, whether it was well thought out, and specificity. And then we'll take a quick break with Matt Lee from Beyond Applied Innovation, sharing about grad fellows and NSF I-Corps information. And then finally, celebration of the program completion, our top performing teams with a reception. So with that, I will jump to our judges. Thank you, judges. Our esteemed judges include Uzair Siddiqui, MBA and Masters. He used to be at Edwards Life Sciences as a VP Strategic Program Manager, but now is at GRIP Molecular. Next, we have Michael Sinsani, PhD based in electrical engineering. He is the Chief Technology Officer at Capacity Management at VSI. Thank you for coming back again to participate as a judge. Our next one is Philip Topham, MBA. He has a background in biological sciences. He's the co-founder of Pulse Point App and an instructor for UCI's NSF I-Corps. And then finally, we have Walid Sabag, PhD, a UCI alumni from biological sciences, and is a registered patent agent and now president and CEO of SoCal Bio. So thank you, judges, for joining us today. I know I'm going through this a little bit quickly because I want to jump into our first team. Welcome up, Tempo Gluco.
Hello, everyone. We are Tempo Gluco. My name is Zaria, and together with Jung, Lorenzo, Sahar, and Yirix, we are going to simplify diabetes, amplify lives. This is George. He is a retired old man, and he loves gardening. Most of the time, you see him tending to his garden with a smile on his face. But like a lot of us do, he struggles with so many things. He is a diabetes type 2 patient, scared of needles, and constantly worrying about receiving his next insulin injection. 38 million people in the United States suffer from diabetes type 2, 30% of which have to receive insulin injections. Tempo Gluco Pills is here to simplify the lives of these people by providing them a solution where they do not have to worry about their injections anymore. While we understand that the ecosystem in the healthcare industry is very complicated, for the purpose of this business model, we have narrowed down our customer segments to the elderly patients with diabetes type 2 in the United States as the end user of our product, while it's really the endocrinologist who is prescribing our pills to the patients and therefore is the recommender of our products. And then it's the insurance companies who is going to pay for it. With Tempo Gluco Pills, we are addressing the pain points of our end users by providing them with a painless, low-maintenance delivery solution, which can keep their blood glucose level constant. Now, this improves the patient health outcome and therefore brings patient satisfaction and retention onto the table for the endocrinologists. This lowers the patient care cost and therefore brings long-term savings for the insurance companies.
Thank you. For the channels of Ardeitis company, we are going to have 3 channels. The first one will be the distribution that will be through the pharmacies. And the next one, and the most important one too, is to get access and marketing of the product. We are going to do through the doctors. The three one will be the insurance company through the reimbursement. For the customer relationship, for the patients, for the end users, we are going to generate the monitoring and follow up, and we are going to generate community support through the page tempogluco.com. And for the doctor, what we are going to have to for the doctors, we will through the educational support, to the advisory board and consultation. We are going to support the clinical trials and the research. And for the N1, for the insurance, we are going to do through the negotiation, and we will address concerns and provide solutions and provide data evidence about the tempogluco with the patients.
So in order to make all this stuff happen, we have got 4 key resources. The first key resources is about our R&D team, including scientists which are going to be expert in medical chemistry, pharmacology, and clinical studies. The second one is our intellectual property, which is going to protect our technology. The third one is the research and lab facility that we are going to provide our scientists and R&D team in order to perform all this research and development process. And last but not least is the important part, which is going to be our financial resources. At earlier stages, we are planning to raise money through private and public investors, such as government grants. Leveraging all those key resources, we have got 4 key activities. The first one is going to be the research and development, where we are going to do the preclinical studies, assessing the biological mechanisms, and coming up with the drug formulation, and also integration with monitoring devices. The second one is clinical trials. We are going to design clinical trial protocols and execute them through our partners. And third one is our IP management, filing patents and trademarks. And lastly is about the regulatory offers. We want to make sure all our protocols are compliant with FDA regulatory. So through this journey, we will have 3 main key partners. The first and the most important one is our collaboration with pharmaceutical companies. So they are going to help us in manufacturing of the pill. We are going to come up with the pill formulation, and they are going to take care of the manufacturing part. The second one is our collaboration with medical institutions, including clinics and hospitals. So they are going to execute the clinical trials and provide us with the result. So we want to make sure that our product is not only effective, but also safe for our patients. And the last one is our partnership with glucose monitoring device companies. This collaboration is going to provide an integrated monitoring solution for the patient, which is going to make it more effective. So this collaboration is going to be beneficial for both parties by increasing the market opportunity for both sides, which is going to be a kind of like future revenue.
So in the United States, the diabetics market is expected to reach $30 billion by 2028. And if we consider the population that previously mentioned my colleague Saria, we can easily calculate that every person will pay around $70 per month. So to make our business profitable, we want to firstly focus on direct sale using traditional physical outlets, such as pharmacy and hospital. This is going to be ideal for us in order to meet the preference of our older customers. And we will do so with a competitive price of $59.99 for a pack of 30 pills. Furthermore, we don't want to keep our technology to ourselves. We are open through collaboration, through licensing it to foreign pharmaceutical companies in order to expand our market globally. Behind our technology lies a robust and structured cost structure. And starting with the fixed cost, we have like huge investment on research and development that we estimate to be around the 15% of our budget. because we really care to keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in diabetes care. Then we consider salaries for our permanent staff. And finally, we consider the storage facility that is going to be fundamental to be able to promptly fulfill the request of the market. As variable cost, we consider manufacturing, production, and shipping, in which we prioritize quality, investing in the state-of-the-art facilities in order to deliver the best product possible. We will also consider that this will be our major cost, covering more than 50% of our total budget. And finally, we have administrative, operational, but most importantly, marketing and sale expenses that are fundamental because we want to reach everybody who can benefit the most from our technology.
All right, I would like to sum up. Having explored our business model campus of Tempo Gluco, I would like to broaden our view and check out the business ecosystem of our business. In the heart of business ecosystem, we have Tempo Gluco with key partners that we mentioned. And surrounding it, we have key entities. Going from pharmacies, patients, doctors, insurance companies, and investors. What we try to show here is simplified, but also categorized networking system between them. And here's the arrow, how this simplified networking system is connected. And we have decision-making, how money flow, information is exchanged, and product is delivered. Let's say for the product, we make the product with the Tempo Gluco with pharmaceutical company and deliver it to pharmacies. Of course, patients can find the product in the pharmacies, and decision of level of the product is decided from the doctors and based on the information the patient's giving. Money-wise, patients giving the money to insurance company and money flows afterward. Lastly, I want to mention about the investors. We need money from investors as well, that money is given from investors and we share the information and we grow all together. I would like to mention that this is not just a structure, this is living, breathing networking system that propels Tempo Gluco. After that, I would like to jump into our SWOT analysis. I would like to, we distill the strength with S and we understand the weakness, W, and we explore opportunities with O. And lastly, we anticipate threat. Starting with the strength, our biggest strength would be innovative formula that we bring to a new product. And this new product brings the ease of use. And then we understand because this new product, we're going to be new market newcomer that we have to compete with the traditional solution companies. Opportunities are really vast for us. That market is growing. Non-invasive solution, demand is high. And also, actually, globally, the growing diabetes patient population is huge. Lastly, I want to anticipate that we understand this market is growing and high competition is there already. But we're going to go through it. Also, new product, we have to overcome the regulatory hurdle and penetrate the market. We want to especially mention that these are the keys for the success of our business and planning and growth. Finally, I want to mention that we revisit George. George, who was struggle with the diabetes, now taking Tempo Gluco, he has such better life, farming, and enjoying his life. I'm bringing his story because he reflects our mission of simplify diabetes, amplify life. And we are not just treating diabetes, but we are actually making someone's life, millions of George like here, much better. Thank you for listening, and we are open up to any questions. Thank you.
We have time for one question, and can I get Phoenix on deck?
So you are developing a pill. Have you guys considered, you did flash that there will be some clinical trials, to the extent of the trials and all that you did not cover? You just made note that you will have to do that.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Right, next up, we have Phoenix. We can get to the next slide for their slide deck. Okay, perfect. When you're ready.
Thank you. Did you know wildfires in California cost up to billions of dollars every year? In 2018 alone, wildfire damages and fire suppression costs totaled $16.5 billion and burned 1.8 million acres. To put it into perspective, if you were to spend $100,000 every day, it would take you 450 years to spend that much. And it's like burning the entire state of Delaware. This is why we're here to introduce you to a product that offers early wildfire suppression and early detection. Our product aims to protect and suppress wildfires around wildland urban interface communities. Wildland urban interface communities refers to the areas or zones of transition between human development and undeveloped land. This will protect communities and lives at risk while helping fire emergency responders carry out a safer fire suppression plan. So if you want to be part of the solution, join us in revolutionizing the way we approach wildfire detection and suppression. And let us show you our product and the way our business model Canvas can benefit your community and your organization.
Our detection system will have the appearance of a regular cellular tower, but it will be equipped with thermal imaging cameras that will pick up temperature differences in the surrounding areas, as well as optical sensors that can detect the presence of carbon monoxide and PM2.5. Also, it will have the foam extinguisher generators that will be automatically activated if the instruments detect the presence of a fire. And this extinguisher can reach a radius of 10 to 20 meters around the tower.
Now, our business model Canvas, we're going to start with the customer segments. So essentially who our customers are going to be. It's going to be the wildland urban interface communities, fire agencies and emergency responders, such as the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, CAL FIRE, the Forest Service, the Bureau of Land Management, the Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, National Park Service, and county fire department. So essentially any government agency that deals with fire suppression. Now, looking at value proposition, how we offer to carry out this whole plan. We offer 24/7 monitoring coupled with an early detection system, as well as an early suppression system, which will enhance community safety and protection. It's going to be an easy to use automated system. Also, it has the option to be manual for those trained professionals. It's going to be environmentally sustainable, as the foam extinguisher that we described does not require any cleanup, and it's friendly with the environment. It's cost effective and with minimal visual impact. Now, how we plan to build this relationship with our customers is by providing support for installation, maintenance, and troubleshooting, training and education for those fire emergency responders, community engagement, regular communication and updates and maintenance to keep up with the needs of the community. Now, Miriam is going to go ahead and talk to us about the channels.
Channels are how we deliver our value proposition to the customers. Our primary channels are direct sales, WUI communities and fire departments, online marketing like social media and awareness campaign, partnership with local government, fire safety and organization and educational programs. At the center of our success and growth is revenue streams. This is our primary revenue streams: one-time sales of the wildfire detection suppression device, regular revenue from maintaining and upgrading the system, potential revenue from data analysis inside services. Also, we'll have the licensing, education and training program. Working together with partners will ensure that we will reach out for more people and also we will do more. Our key partners are manufacturer and suppliers for the
camera, thermal imaging camera, and the optical sensor to sense chemicals for early detection of the fire. Foam fire extinguisher generators. Also, our technology partners will be the IT developer of for monitoring portal and internet service provider. For the government, we will have fire agency and emergency responders, and also we want to make sure that we are following the standards by partnering with regulatory bodies for legal compliance. Research institutions like environmental experts and university lab partners, and finally, utilities for power. Next, I will hand it to Lulu for the key activities.
The development and continual enhancement of our system involve key activities that prioritize both the product excellence and regulatory compliance. So our team, our dedicated team, engages in rigorous product development and improvement, adhering strict manufacturing processing and comprehensive testing and stringent quality control measures. Our marketing and sales efforts focus on effectively communicating out the benefits of our solution to potential customers. Furthermore, we provide comprehensive installation and maintenance services to guarantee the optimal functioning of our system. What's more, our team maintains an updated knowledge of regulations to ensure seamless integration with local policies and contributing to the safety of the communities that we serve. A robust wildfire detection system relies on a strategic allocation of key resources. A research and development team is crucial for a continuous improvement. And then manufacturing facilities is responsible for the production of components that are necessary for the system's deployment. Also, skilled technicians are also important for making sure that our device is implemented correctly and functions optimally. Lastly, a responsive customer service support team can help promoting our system to relevant stakeholders. The cost structure. So developing and implementing an effective wildfire detection system involves various cost considerations across different stages. In research and developmental stage, substantial funds are required for designing and perfecting technology to ensure the accuracy and reliability of our product. Manufacturing expenses cover the production of the key components for product deployment. And marketing and advertising costs can help promoting. Sorry, I think I got the last slide wrong. I apologize for that. The marketing and advertising expenses can help promoting our product to relevant stakeholders. That's what I was going to say. And then once our product is deployed, operational costs come into play, which includes expenses for technicians for installation, ongoing maintenance, and reliable customer support services. And that's our business model canvas. Join us in revolutionizing fire safety and protecting lives and assets with a smart investment in the future of fire detection. Phoenix, protecting home,
preserving
nature. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions? We have a couple minutes for that. Yes.
Is this focused more on suppression or on detection? I guess the reason I'm asking this, I'm trying to understand, is this something where you want to put one of those in every home, like to suppress something like you said, 20 meters, 30-meter radius or something? Or is this something that goes on top of the hill and kind of detects early warning for the whole neighborhood?
Right. So we're focusing on early detection and early suppression. We're not trying to suppress wildfires altogether. We're essentially trying to protect those communities to give enough time for them to either evacuate, whatever the case may be, while also informing fire emergency responders of the detection of the presence of a potential fire, to essentially protect the assets and the lives at risk, not necessarily deal with putting out fires completely.
But then, do you have a suppression part or no suppression part?
Yes. So the suppression part is the, if I can go back, the extinguishing capabilities that are not super clear on the picture of what the product looks like. But essentially, it's going to have fire extinguishers around the tower that are going to go off and put out the fire around a 20-meter radius. And so these towers are meant to be installed around the community to be pretty much like a barrier to just try and keep. So it's going to put out any fire around that 20-meter radius, essentially.
So a ring of those around, you're saying, the
Right.
community.
So like a couple of those towers around the edge of the community to pretty much put that out.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Service going to be subscription based or revenue stream?
I'm just going to move on to get to the next team. Sorry.
All right, I think we're at time. Thank you so much. Very timely with all the winds going on in wildfires. All right, next up. We have Team Nazarvir. Whenever you are ready.
Oh, there you go. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jose, and my colleagues here are Tessa, Mina, and Quinn. And today we're really excited to talk to you about our product Nazavir, which is going to be a new anti-inflammatory nasal spray for to prevent long COVID. So approximately 77% of Americans have at least been infected with COVID at least once since the start of the pandemic. And thankfully, due to the hard work of scientists around the world, we've been able to have vaccines. And then now we've kind of returned to a normal sense of pre-pandemic normalcy. And unfortunately, 23 million people in the US at least have presented with longer term symptoms. So these are symptoms that persist after 4 weeks. And that includes symptoms such as a cough or a shortness of breath, or even other symptoms that include brain fog or cognitive impairments. And long COVID has been partly blamed to be due to the severe inflammation. And that can lead to stroke or kidney or heart failure. And our customers for Nazavir are going to be hospitals and pharmacies, since they are the ones who are working to get better treatments for COVID. And they are working towards lowering that hyperinflammation that's caused by the virus. And secondary customers that we're going to have an impact thanks to Nazavir are going to be frontline essential workers who work in high density areas, as well as individuals who are already prone to have severe complications due to an infection. And that includes immunocompromised and also elderly individuals.
As Jose has mentioned, our project is an anti-inflammatory nasal spray specifically targeting viral inflammation. Because it's a nasal spray, it's non-invasive, easily absorbed route of administration, makes it both efficient and reliable for patients and physicians alike. As it stands, most anti-inflammatory medications are administered topically, orally, or intravenously. However, an estimated 30% of patients have expressed concerns in the form of skin allergies, cardiovascular, and gastrointestinal issues. At the same time, physicians have noted that the harsh environment of gastrointestinal tracts may contribute to dampening compound efficacy. And as it stands, there remains a need for drugs that can still deliver while mitigating potential off-target effects. Because of its properties, Nasivir is also convenient for physicians and patients. Many hospitalized patients require intense respiratory care and constant monitoring, and this stretches healthcare providers thin, especially in rural environments. Because of its ability to selectively target viral-induced inflammation, this alleviates patient symptoms and allows healthcare providers to extend their care to others who are also hospitalized, relieving the burden. Lastly, Nasivir is compatible with other respiratory pathogens. Currently, we pride ourselves on our ability to create on-target nasal sprays that specifically target SARS-CoV-2 induced inflammation, but ultimately our project is a technology, and we expect to be able to expand our repertoire to other respiratory pathogens that may induce systemic inflammation.
Yeah, so due to how other current treatments against COVID are publicly perceived, we want to make Nasivir easy to use and easy to understand. So we want to provide accessible information that will including educational webinars and also QR codes on the product itself that would link to it to make it more accessible to our customers. And also we want to ensure that customer satisfaction is achieved through newsletter promotions and also feedback polls that are based through with raffles. We also want to have really good customer support to make by having accessible in-person and also remote customer service representatives available for any troubleshooting that is going to be necessary. And lastly, on our website, we want to have a section of Nasivir in the news that will keep our customers up to date with company updates, product updates, as well as hospital and patient testimonials.
To effectively deliver our value propositions to customers, we expect to be able to reach them through firstly our online platforms. The direct sales we make through our company and partnering pharmacy websites will allow us to gain a wide national reach, but we will also simultaneously be fostering relationships with healthcare providers. In particular, this will be done through our clinical trials and also product reviews and testimonials. The feedback we receive from these will then form the basis for 3 targeted social media ads. In particular, we will be featuring patient and physician testimonials, allowing us to establish rapport within the medical community, but also the people that they serve at large. I'll be passing this off to our next presenter.
So as a nasal spray company, our most important activities is research and development. As you may have heard, virus mutate, and that's why we have so many generations of COVID vaccine. We want to do the same thing with our spray so that we always stay up to date with the evolutions of virus while still maintaining a competitive price of $30 spray. And we also want to do quality control for our product so that our products is always safe, effective, and consistent in quality. As a business, we want to sell as many products as possible. And so we will definitely do marketing. The key strategy that we use is to collect and distribute testimonials from physicians and patients who have used and recommend our products. Serving patients is the core of our business. And so we will have customer service. We will have it in many channels such as phone, live chat, so that if patients have any question about products, they always have access to reliable information from our company. And finally, we want to protect our intellectual properties as well as make sure that operations comply to any employment laws.
Our key partners include our manufacturing, which is Renaissance Pharmaceuticals. It's a US-based contract manufacturing company, which has more than 20 years of experience producing nasal sprays. And it has a track record of helping clients for delivery of healthcare products. And then we also collaborate with compliance. For our compliance with hospital pharmacy and therapeutic committees, they inspect all the They control all the aspects of the use of medication in the institution, including the development and maintenance of the formula. We also collaborate with research institutions such as university labs to make sure we stand up to date on the research side. For the distributions, we are partnering with Cencora and Cardinal Health. Cencora is a former Amerisource, which is a global leader in pharmaceutical services, and it has secure and reliable delivery of the healthcare products. Cardinal Health is the 14th higher revenue company in the US for delivery of the healthcare products.
For our business to success, we have a skilled workforce to involve in every process of our activities, such as research and development, quality control, sales and marketing, as well as supply chain management. We also have intellectual property, such as drug formulation patents, protect so that our innovations is protect, and we have a competitive edge in the market. We also have facilities that help us manufacturers and distribute our products, as well as research labs. And we have a distribution networks that compose of wholesale providers and logistic providers, so that to help us manage our supply chain.
So we have a series of fixed costs, which includes the salary of the personnel, the R&D, quality control, IP, regulatory affair compliance, and marketing teams. We also have a fixed cost of R&D facility rent. For the variable costs, we have the manufacturing and distribution. We are outsourcing our manufacturing from the Renaissance Pharmaceutical Company. It's the cost of raw material, distribution cost, and clinical trials, as well as the marketing and promotion. Our revenue stream, it's the first one is for selling directly to the hospital, pharmacies, and other healthcare providers. We also have a licensing agreement with third-party sellers and other manufacturers who are interested in our products. We also have partnerships for companies who are interested in our product to possibly come with a joint product, which is to interest of everyone. Pandemic has shown it's important to fight respiratory diseases such as influenza and RSV. So if our expertise is in COVID, we can partner with other companies who have expertise in other viruses and come up with a joint product to help fight the respiratory disease.
We summarize all the information that we present in the business model canvas. With NasoView, we encourage you to stay healthy and breathe easy. Thank you very much. For question.
All right, thank you. We have 1 minute for questions. And can I get Microdetect on deck, please?
Yeah, so at the moment it's not. So it's prescription, but we do have the potential to then reformulate it to be over the counter eventually. But right now it's going to be prescription strain. Yeah. Yeah, so at this point, in our NasoView would be FDA approved here already. So. Yeah, the FDA approval specifically. Yeah.
I think as far as our understanding went, we were just going to be FDA compliant, but I understand that regulatory affairs is completely separate from that. So maybe we could have just clarified that a bit more.
Okay, thank you so much. Next up, we have Microdetect by SYHY.
Okay. Oh. Hello.
When you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about MicroDetect and how we can use our technology for the detection of microbe contamination for food safety. We're Team SciHi. My name is Hans, and I'm going to pass off the mic to my colleague, Yulai Chang.
So microbes provide benefits to our health, but not all microbes are that friendly. So unsafe food containing harmful bacteria, viruses, and parasites can cause up to more than 200 diseases, ranging from diarrhea to cancer. An estimate from the World Health Organization suggested that there are 600 million people that fell ill after eating contaminated food, and 70% of them would die every year. So one of these vicious microbes that we'll be talking about today is Vibrio chloria, which is the bacteria that cause chloria. So people infected with this diseases, they would develop symptoms like diarrhea, abdominal pain, and some vomiting at times. They infect both children, adults, and they would kill people within hours if untreated. Some drawbacks of the traditional methods include that the sensitivity and specificity, and more importantly, the time-consuming issues. Because for culture-based methods that require the growth of the bacteria to be detected under microscope, there's also interferences with other microbes, and this kind of advanced biotechnology requires skilled personnel for these detections experiments. So now we really need a accurate readout for the detection of chloria.
So at the core of our technology lies an AI-guided designed antibody that binds to a unique biomarker excreted only by the bacteria that we just mentioned, right? Keeping this in mind, this antibody produces a colorimetric change all through a microfluidic device at the tip of your fingertips, right? Creating a fast, convenient, and even more accurate method of detection relative to traditional methods. Keeping this in mind, if you look around the literature and observe how fast this antibody-based technology for the detection of biomarkers relative to culture-based methods, we already see, like, not only for cholera, but for other deadly bacterial biomarkers, we see over a 50-fold decrease in detection time. And at the same time, because you don't have to look at a microscope, we're getting a quantitative view of how much bacteria and how much of that pathogen is actually in our system compared to a traditional culture-based method where you have to spend endless hours looking in the microscope and waiting to see, oh, that is what I'm looking for. And in that time, who knows what's already happened to your patient and to the food supply.
Thanks. Okay. So our primary, is this on? Okay. Our primary customer segments are going to be food producers and manufacturers. So the main customers that we're looking to service this product to are going to be essentially food processing facilities. So anybody that is involved in the production or processing of food, whether it's from raw materials or the production of like finalized products like the chips we have in the back, they're going to need to be analyzed for potential pathogens. So MicroDetect is going to enable companies such as these to have faster and easier detection of microbes potentially in their food supply. So we really want to be able to focus on personal relationships with our customers and emphasize the importance of maintaining the health of their customers being consumers of their foods. So we want to be able to emphasize that we can visit these different production plants and demonstrate our technology to them. So kind of the advantage of this is in its speed and ease of application compared to other methods that require longer term methods to culture bacteria and maybe a special facility. We have the ability to sort of take our technology to a facility and say, here, put your food right in, and we'll show you how our machines can help improve your processes. So for manufacturing, we're looking at trying to keep everything inside the US in order to keep manufacturing costs low and the quality control high for the production of our antibodies and our microfluidic devices. As well as for product distribution and sales teams, we'll be looking at developing a team of sales members that can go directly to these food manufacturers and do these demonstrations for our product.
So as I previously mentioned earlier, a lot of the methods to detect this bacteria rely on culture-based methods. And a lot of times this is the gold standard for the industry in terms of evaluating whether or not you have a contamination. Keeping this in mind, our key partners will be a lot of the regulatory bodies, right, that will enable Microdetect to act as FDA standard and compliant, right, because of its ease and accuracy. At the same time, we hope to be able to establish its IP and patents, right, to allow for exclusive distribution internally using our own brand. At the same time, we would like to expand this to other microbes. There are other microbes out there, not just cholera, that can cause even worse conditions, right, to people that consume them, right? And we would like to expand our unique biomarker detection technology to these other microbes. At the same time, we want to use and expand on the different AI that we're using for the design of such antibodies. Finally, cholera is not just a problem in the US, it's a problem all around the world, right? And we need to be able to adapt our business model, right, for the distribution to international markets as well.
And so there's three key resources that we pay close attention to. We need technical experts, mostly in research, but also in some of the marketing teams to develop new products, to introduce these products in a technical aspect to our customers. We need we need to be friends with regulatory affairs teams. Basically, they deal with regulatory rules. We will stick strictly to the regulatory rules both in the US, and if we want to sell these products to other countries, we also need to comply to their requirements as well. And finally, the third key resources that we need to pay attention to are sales and marketing team. Without them, the best product cannot generate profits. So that's also very important. Our revenue streams and cost structures. So there are, again, three major parts for our revenues. The first is, of course, product sales. We are looking at both one-time sale and also subscriptions for those customers with high needs, like large food processing companies and such. Or also we are looking at also training programs where we train the personnel from those food processing companies to use our products. And then customization of Microdetect to your specific environment. So we see different kinds of bacteria in all kinds of environments. They can have different temperatures, like bacteria survive under different temperatures, under different organisms, different food pH. All these variables are very tricky to deal with. So we want to deliver our best product to our customers. That comes as a customization to these customers. And for these revenues that we get, some of them will be invested into further research and development of our new products, expanding to other organisms. We are also going to, again, stick to the regulatory compliances rules. So basically stick to GMP or GLP from the US and other rules from other countries. Marketing. So we will do in-person demonstrations, show the food processing companies how our product works and the advantage of our products over traditional culture-based detection methods. And then last but not least, customization expenses. So while we customize our products to satisfy different needs from different customers, this kind of customization comes at a cost. So we want to kind of streamline this customization step so that we will try to minimize our customization expense to get like more to suits more scenarios and to kind of develop a pipeline that customize based on the needs from our customers.
Keeping this in mind, right, we would like to end our presentation by, just quickly summarizing how our antibody technology offers this compelling opportunity, right, to transform cholera detection, and hopefully not just cholera detection through our different R&D programs, boasting a faster and more efficient method that addresses a critical need, right, a global healthcare need, and aligns with the growing demand for much more impactful healthcare solutions. We are Team SciHi, and thank you.
We have time for one question. Can I get STEM GPT on deck, please?
Yes. 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 Yeah. A lot of the contamination from cholera usually comes from transport, right? So we'll be looking at the raw products as a starting point for or people that are responsible for transport of raw meats, for example, and other raw unprocessed foods.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Next up, we have STEM GPT. Whenever you are ready.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Olti Murtai. I'm here with my business partners. You can introduce yourselves. And we're really excited to tell you today about our business, STEM GPT, your new personal AI tutor. So math's hard, right? If you don't think so, I think so, and the rest of us think so, and we're third-year PhD students in astrophysics. It turns out that students all across the country think so as well. And our education system in the US is failing these students. Statistics show that math scores nationally have been on a decline and that this trend will continue to persist. It turns out that math is also really useful. The most in-demand jobs in our country require a strong mathematics foundation. So what are we going to do about this problem? STEM GPT can help solve this problem. It is a personal AI tutor that is available 24/7, anytime, anywhere. And unlike human tutors and other large language models, STEM GPT is built with the student in mind and will provide personalized assistance to our students. So I'd like to cover the first segment of our business model canvas, being customer segments. We plan to sell this students to undergraduate students in introductory math courses who are struggling, and also to the parents of those students who want to see their children do better in their intro math courses. Additionally, we expect great interest and plan to sell to universities that want to improve their rankings and that might find tutors inaccessible to their students because math tutoring is a very in-demand field for tutors. Next, I'd like to cover the value propositions for our business. The main value of STEM GPT is that it will help students get better at math. Math tutors are really inaccessible and can be very expensive, and they're hard to come by, very in demand, and STEM GPT provides an alternative to facilitate students getting better at their math courses. We also want to see students become more interested in math, and that will open gateways for them to advance into much more in-demand fields, as we saw earlier in the US. Next, the key partners for our business include the university systems. The university systems allow a gateway and channel for us to acquire data such that we can train our large language model. Additionally, the university system will provide a customer base in the form of undergraduate students. Our business needs computing resources in order to function, and we will also use STEM education experts to moderate the correctness of our language model and to form lesson plans and teach students with research-backed methods. We'll plan to advertise our business in an AI revolutionized world where AI has not been used to this extent previously for teaching students. And we'll also need legal advising to ensure that we are complying with data and AI ethical standards. Before I hand things off to Corey, I'd like to tell you about the key activities of our business. First of all, we'll have to show that our product really works and helps students. And this will come in the form of monitoring and analyzing the statistics of student outcomes and talking to the students themselves and giving them questionnaires and seeing how they're doing and tracking their progress over time. Our teams will also train and develop the language model, and we'll be advertising this new teaching concept in an AI revolutionized world. Finally, our app development and tech support teams are there to create a user-friendly and reliable experience for our customers. And now I'd like to pass the baton off to Corey, who will tell you about key resources of our business.
Thanks, Ulti. Can I borrow that? Thanks. Yeah, okay, so let's talk more about STEM GPT. The key resources that are going to be an essential part of training this advanced AI large language model are going to be expertise mainly. We need software developers. We need machine learning engineers and data scientists. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of other infrastructure that we need as well. I'll cover this a little bit more down the line, but what we're going to also need are going to be web developers that create an attractive, appealing front end for our users. We're going to need a convenient IT support. We're going to need sales teams to market things and help us with our revenue generation. And of course, we need cybersecurity experts and other partners like that. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about our relationships, because that's going to be an essential part of any business. And with STEM GPT, our customers are going to be directly interfacing with our product in a way that they may not with some other products. Now, we want to keep, and grow our customer base. And to get them, we're going to do this in two particular ways. First of all, I mentioned advertising. Social media is heavily used by young people at universities, and so we expect this to be our main platform for advertising STEM GPT. But beyond that, we want the success of our product to spread to things via word of mouth, and also we want our customers to talk about this convenient app that we plan on generating. Something that is, and we put this under the get and the keep category because we want it to be easy to start using to help get customers, and we want it to be really nice to keep using. Furthermore, we need reliable results. At the end of the day, people are using our product to improve their math scores. And if their math scores aren't improving, they're going to stop using it. So we need our experts to make sure that this AI tutoring model provides accurate results and actually does so in a way that helps the students using it. Now, there's a lot of ways we can grow this as well. We can expand into new languages. Large language models are still experimenting and learning this now, but there's been a lot of success. What's more, we can expand to different subjects. I've been focusing on mathematics here, and we chose this subject because it is something that is commonly taken by any STEM student and is something that is most frequently struggled with. But other foundational STEM courses like physics, chemistry, biology, computer science are all things that STEM GPT could eventually excel at. Now, let's talk about how we're getting this to our customers. I've mentioned an app. Apps and websites are going to be the essential part of our product. We need this to be easy to use. We need it to be clean. We need an IT support on staff that can help people when they're having problems using our product. The name of the game is to make this really easy and really straightforward. That way, students can focus on improving their math scores without having to worry about anything else. Now, of course, we're going to be advertising via channels on campuses, physical channels, as well as social media, as we mentioned before. But at the end of the day, the app and the website are the core part of our product and how we get it to customers and how they interact with it. Now, let's talk about what this is going to cost us. We've designed STEM GPT to be relatively inexpensive compared to certain other businesses. Our primary costs are going to be expert salaries, employees like software developers and machine learning engineers who help our model do the right amount of work. We also expect legal fees to be not insubstantial. There's quite a lot of new law and litigation being developed around AI technology right now, and it's still uncertain 10 years from now what AI law might look like. This is going to be an essential part of our product. Beyond that, we need computing resources. Developing a large language model, something like ChatGPT, is quite the computationally expensive process. This isn't going to be something you're going to be running on your local computer. That can be expensive, but with key partners like Amazon Web Services or Azure, these things can be scaled up and scaled down depending on how we are training our models and what new features we're trying to add. And of course, advertising. We may choose to scale this cost up during school years when finals are approaching and scale it down over the summer when students aren't taking classes as often. Now, how are we going to make our money? That's what maybe we care about the most. The most straightforward way to use STEM GPT is a subscription plan. It's the most logical way. We plan on creating a subscription with multiple tiers. A cheaper tier that's probably going to be the most popular, that's going to have advertisements. This advertisement can be an additional source of revenue. Furthermore, for those who are regular users or just hate seeing ads, we're going to have a premium version. And we also mentioned that the key partners are going to be universities. Universities are going to get a special instructor version. Perhaps they can provide it for free for their whole class, and they themselves pay the premium. We expect all of these to see some kind of use when STEM GPT eventually comes online. Now, just summarizing things, math is hard. Most students in elementary, middle school, high school, and university level agree about this. And it's a shame that problem-solving mathematical skills are really necessary for the top-growing jobs and the top-paying jobs in the United States. So we're going to use a cheap alternative to expensive tutoring to help students improve their scores. Tutoring is a real market that exists, very expensive. It can be difficult to schedule with tutors. We're going to make this way easier for students and help universities and students get back on the map. Thank you.
We have time for one question, and can I get face value on deck, please?
Yeah, this is something that we are going to have to partner with universities to do. Data on mathematical problems and student results, that sort of thing, how to solve these, are something that many universities already store and sometimes throw away. Mastering Physics, Pearson, these companies that develop products for students that help them do homework problems and grade them automatically. We expect partnerships with all of these companies will include us purchasing data from them and them recording special data for us so that we can invest it into our large language model.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Next up, we have Face Value as our last team today. And if you want to change the, there you go. All right, you're good to go, Nimmer.
Our company is Face Value, and we make customized 3D printed jaw implants. So I'm going to introduce our team a little bit. My name is Elliot, and my expertise is in modeling. We also have Alex and Srivastav, where Srivastav is an expert in metallurgy and Alex is an expert in metamaterials. Not here with us today. However, our team are the current experts that are going to be solving this type of a problem, 3D printed jaw implants. So 3D printed jaw implants. These surgeries are extremely complicated and everybody wants safe and effective jaw replacement surgeries, and that starts with the implant. So the standard of care for current mandibular reconstruction is something called fibular flap reconstruction. As you can see in that top figure there, what they do is they take a piece of your fibula along with the blood supply, and they use that to replace a part of your jaw. The current issue with this standard of care is that 60% of patients suffered in the hospital from cervical complications, as well as a 12% flap failure rate. So although this is the standard of care, there is much room for improvement. There are current 3D printed implants. However, there are key issues with these 3D printed implants. There is no density matching with these 3D implants, which means that the density of the bone and the density of titanium is vastly different. Furthermore, there's no osseointegration. So the titanium and the bone are currently completely bolted together with screws. This causes a large chance of failure, and this is one of the reasons why they're not the standard of care. So we are planning on improving on this 3D printed jaw implant technology by improving those two key aspects of density matching and osseointegration.
Great. Thank you, Elliot. So as Elliot just mentioned, there are a lot of issues with the current solutions, both the fibular flap and the current 3D printed solution. So as he just mentioned, I just want to reiterate, the fibular flap has an additional surgery where you're getting the part of the bone from the tibia that we're not going to have to do as a customized 3D printed implant. And then also there's the stress shielding. So that occurs from when you just have a titanium implant where your jaw is, the titanium is much stronger. And so your bone no longer becomes load bearing and then it becomes weakened. And then also there's a density difference. So, if this is dense titanium and this is light bone, you become lopsided. You could develop TMJ, temporal mandible joint syndrome. And so our solution, our value proposition is to solve these problems all in one with our premium implant. So our solution is, if you look at the image on the right, you can see a bunch of geometries called metamaterials. And these metamaterials are periodic structures where you can tailor where the porosity is, how much porosity you have, and you can customize the properties. So you can customize the strength, the stiffness, the density, the toughness, all to match that of the bone. And so you're going to not have that stress shielding issue or that density difference issue. And then also we can improve the implant. So you can see on the image on the left, it's just bolted to where the jaws are. That's the joining mechanism, just 2 bolts. On a more microporous level, we can have osseointegration, so the pores are even smaller, and it allows for bone ingrowth into the implant as opposed to just 2 parts joining. And then also, as a 3D printed additive manufacturing technology, we can customize it so it can match exactly the aesthetic or the whole thing if it was a full implant. So that is our value proposition, to create a premium implant by solving these problems.
All right. Oops, sorry. Okay, so as Brandon just mentioned, there's a lot of material science related value that is provided with our company, face value. But when we're thinking about our customers, who is actually getting the most value? In our sense, we believe that oral surgeons and also the deans of dental schools will be receiving the most value. So this occurs not only in the healthcare industries, but also in the academic industries as well. So our customer segments have pretty much been broken down to the universities, the hospitals that are accessible to the public population, and also the oral surgeons that do private practice in healthcare. So when we think about how all of these customer segments are going to be receiving our product, there's initially about 3 channels that we want to use. So conventionally, a lot of 3D manufactured jaw implants use some kind of online website where they present their technology, they present the workflow and how they go from their 3D printed jaw implant from a CAD file to a final actually implemented jaw implant that's put into their patients. So that is one channel, just to let our customer base understand how we're making it, how we're able to customize all of the technical specifications that comes with the jaw implant. The other channel is also going to focus on a dedicated sales team that reaches out to both the private practice customer base and also the overall hospital. Specifically, they're going to be reaching out and interfacing with purchasing managers at these hospitals because they need to ensure that our 3D jaw implant company is not only separate from other companies that exist, but they have to reinforce that we have this ability to customize all of our products to tailor to their end users or the patient's needs. And the other channel, because I've spoke on our university customer segment, is also a university sales representative because their end goal is a little different because a lot of them focus on trying to improve the understanding of oral surgery and also the different procedures that goes on with implementing a jaw implant. So they're going to be tailored more to improving the curriculum integration. And to speak more on that, we need to make sure that we keep our actual customer base. So although it's not present on this slide, we have made sure that our way to enhance our customer relationship is one through curriculum integration, which is going to be done primarily through combining these 3D jaw implants with schools or specifically professors that are going to be teaching these actual procedures and also to reinforce the core material science fundamentals that are needed to be understood to make sure that these jaw implants work. Another added benefit is that not only is this customizable, but this is something that can be retained over time. And that means that as these jaw implants are going to be used, we're also going to have an on-site service technician that's going to be working with the hospitals and also these private practices to ensure that every step of the jaw implant is going to be not only understood, but also it can be troubleshooted if there's going to be some complications with biocompatibility of the patients and also of the overall material science that needs to be altered, which could be the porosity or the different types of density matching that needs to happen with the bone and the actual jaw implant itself.
Great. So to achieve these goals of our company, we're going to have to participate in a few key activities. And to achieve those, we'll have to partner with our key partners and utilize our resources. So our first key activity will be production, and that will be maintaining the materials for 3D printing and for gaining these metamaterials. We'll partner with companies for additive manufacturing who have expertise in these fields, and also medical imaging so that we can understand exactly where we need to be printing these jaw implants and understanding the structure that's needed. Our resources for this would be finance to fund these ventures and also utilizing 3D printing technicians who have an expertise in this as well for these applications. Our next one would be platforms, where we would be reaching out to our medical centers and universities, and we would be utilizing our sales team for that so that we can get a broader outreach for our company. And our last one would be for problem solving. This would be for maintenance and support. This would be our on-site team that we were talking about, so we can understand exactly what the problems are with these implants and be able to correct it quickly and easily so that we won't have to redo any surgeries.
Great. So to fund this business model and our key activities, we can talk about our finances, our cost structure, and our revenue. So one of the main key activities and our core competency is designing these parts ourselves. So our expertise with the metamaterials and the designing of the implants. Other than that, the most significant cost is the manufacturing equipment. So initially we want to outsource that. So turn that from a fixed cost to a variable cost initially. Those printers are millions of dollars, the CT scanners, the auxiliary equipment. Even with investors initially, we wouldn't be able to just buy those ourselves. We wanted to outsource that initially, but then vertically integrate. So both the manufacturing and also the certification, so you can send it to private labs and they'll certify it for you that everything is biocompatible. We want to outsource that initially and then turn that into a fixed cost as we grow. And then the revenue is a bit more simple. We want to have fixed pricing, so a premium price for a premium product, and we're just going to sell that directly to our customer, but also have service contracts along the way. So when we are, first interfacing with the customer or the patient, and then going back and forth with the CT scanner, sending it back to the lab, just a service contract to cover those costs along the way, and then selling the product once it's actually, in the implant, in the patient.
So in conclusion, if you're one of the 10,000 patients every year that undergoes maxillofacial mandibular reconstruction surgery, which is going to need our jaw implant. So somebody who has cancer in the face, or somebody who is a veteran who went through some sort of trauma in the face and needed that type of surgery, our technology will improve the outcomes and efficacy of that mandibular surgery. And as was explained by my colleagues over here, we're going to need to do testing to test this technology to make sure that it works, make sure that the 3D printing works properly in the titanium, make sure that the implants are osseointegrated so that they work with the patient, make sure they're tailored to each specific patient in that testing, and make sure that it works for the oral surgeon so that they can actually do these surgeries. So we're going to get user feedback from those oral surgeons, from the curriculum, from the professors who are teaching the curriculum, as well as the patients themselves. So this technology will improve the outcomes and efficacy of mandibular surgery. Thank you very much.
We have time for one question.
Go ahead. Sure, that's a great question. So there's two main reasons here. Number one, I would say that I have expertise in the jaw replacement surgeries because my father's a dentist, my grandfather's a dentist, my brother is going to school for oral surgery. So we found that this specific type of surgery, the fibula replacement surgery, is one that is extremely complicated. So when you're taking out that part of the fibula, you can have a lot of other complications, and that always happens with the lower jaw surgery. Now, we would potentially be interested in expanding this type of a market into possibly knee or spine or other parts of the face surgeries. However, those surgeries, although they're like different and complicated, we don't know the specifics of those surgeries to know whether or not they need this type of 3D printed implant. So specifically for this surgery, to remove an extra surgery, I think we have a key advantage here.
So we'll be doing the printing. So at first it'd be sort of like a machine shop, but like a print shop. They will print the implant, but the information will come from the patient, like from the doctor's office, doing a CT scan there, or doing a CT scan at like a private lab, like a Quest Technologies for CT scanning. That's where we would get the information.
All righty, thank you to all of our presenters. Thank you, Face Value, and that concludes our presentation time with our GPS STEM trainees. I'd like to welcome up Matt Lee to buy us some time as we do some calculation. Let me get this up. So Matt Lee is the manager of Scalable Ventures at Bial Applied Innovation, and he will be sharing about Graduate Fellows Program and NSF I-Corps. Here's your clicker.
All right. How's it going, everybody? Great presentations, by the way. I really enjoyed them. So as Joanne said, I'm here to buy you guys a little, our judges here a little bit of time to collect their thoughts and give you your scores. So in the meantime, I want to introduce a little bit about what we do here at Bial Applied Innovation, and specifically two programs that we have. Yeah, you all know what I look like now, so we can go ahead and skip this. And actually, my understanding is that you guys already heard some of this from Matt Hansen. So I'm going to actually skip over kind of briefly what the mission and vision of Bial Applied is. But in general, our goal is to move things from the research bench into real world, right? So that's essentially what you guys are learning about today. Oh, sorry, what you guys present today. All right, skip this part. This is just showing a little bit of the momentum about why this path is important. But let's get to the meat of it. All right, let's see. So what we're trying to do here is really important, right? So in this translation step from bench work into products and services in the real world, this interface doesn't happen automatically or naturally. It requires a lot of effort, right? Part of the rationale is because these two things sort of exist in different worlds, right? What we're trying to do is create this interface in the middle so that we can facilitate the transition in both directions, right? So what do I mean by both directions, right? I just talked about moving things from one side to the other, right? From the research side on the left to the markets and products and services on the right. What do I mean it's a bidirectional transfer? Well, what we mean is we need to bring what we call use inspiration from the right side to the left side. And what does use inspiration mean? Well, on campus, we have this $650+ million research engine, right? But how do we know that it's being applied productively, especially when we're thinking about it from a commercialization endpoint in mind, right? Well, to that effect, what we need to do is we need to bring knowledge and understanding of the market unmet needs, right? Sort of what you guys have been presenting today, and bring that over to the left side so that when we're aiming this, the $655 million research engine in the right direction, right? If the ultimate goal is commercialization. And at the interface, at the juxtaposition there, is where some of this Beal Applied Innovations activity lives. And this will be some of the programs that I'll be describing to you right now. So most of you, I think, have already seen this slide. I'm sure Matt has presented this litany of lists of services and programs that we have here at Beal Applied Innovation. But there's two in particular that I really want to highlight for you guys. The first is the Graduate Innovation Fellows Program. So this is a competitive program that we provide to our graduate students so that we provide them a stipend as well as a litany of education opportunities and resources so that they can get into the right mindset and learn about entrepreneurship and innovation, right? So someone with a great idea, how do you get that off the ground? Well, we provide you some of the resources and understanding to move you along that path. Juan Felipe here, you could raise your hand real quick. That's one of my partners in crime at the New Ventures Group. He has been in charge of the graduate management program, and he can obviously give you guys a little bit more detail about this as well if you want some historic information. But this is a program that's really informative. In fact, we also have actually a active graduate innovation fellow here in the room. So if you have any additional questions about the experience, please go ahead and reach out to her as well. The second program that I really want to mention here, and I think it's especially germane to what you guys just experienced, is the NSF I-Corps program. So this stands for Innovation Corps. Here at Beal Applied Innovation, we have the privilege of being led by our new CIO, Eero Arkilich, who actually created the NSF I-Corps program during his tenure at NSF. And the point of Innovation Corps is really, at its very fundamental, is to understand customer discovery, right? And it's based on the business model canvas, which you guys obviously are now very familiar with. So this is a natural extension of what you guys are learning so far throughout your GPS STEM experience. The difference here, though, is that what I-Corps does is very hands-on, and it's the next step, right? So what you guys have done today is created essentially a draft version, the initial iteration of what would be your business model canvas. What I-Corps facilitates is the iterative changes that you can go through by actually going out, reaching out to potential customers, potential stakeholders, all of the potential channels, partners that you've identified within your business model canvas to go out and say, hey, is this real? Let's validate your initial hypothesis, right? And this is, like I mentioned, an iterative process because you don't do this just once, right? You do this multiple times, and every time as you learn, you you tune your hypothesis to what you're hearing. And occasionally you will have to do some hard pivots, right? This does happen. Occasionally realize that, oh, I had a great idea, but honestly, the market's not ready for it. Or maybe the technology is not ready to facilitate and support what you're trying to accomplish. But how do you find that out? Well, you actually have to go out there, get out of the lab, get out of the academic bubble and start talking to folks, right? And this is what the Innovation Corps allows you to do. So what we have on campus at UCI is a regional Innovation Corps program. This is about a 1.5-week program where you have to go out and talk to 15 different customers over that 1.5-week period. And throughout, you will be led by our I-Corps instructors, one of whom is sitting in the front here, Philip. And they will coach you through sort of the process of how to complete really or understand what it is to have a well-defined value proposition as well as understanding of your customer segmentation. So our local program is relatively compact, and it's really only focused on those two blocks within the larger business model canvas. But there's a much bigger program, the National Science Foundation National I-Corps program. And if you are eligible because you have, for example, work that's based on university research or UCI IP, you're eligible for this much much higher time commitment program, but also much deeper program. So this is a program that runs for 7 weeks, and you have to do over 100 interviews. And once again, amongst you, there is already someone who has had tremendous experience and actually won the Spirit of I-Corps Award during her participation, who can tell you actually probably a lot more about the experience than I can. But overall, it's an extremely valuable experience. It allows you really to understand better than the back of your hand what it is exactly that you're proposing as a value proposition, who it is that you're proposing these values to, and how it really solves their problem, right? I've been kind of blabbing on for quite a bit here. Are there any questions for either the I-Corps program or the Graduate Innovation Fellow program? Yes. Yeah, so the national I-Corps program, so I think, great question. So the question was, when the national and national I-Corps, what does this specifically refer to? Does this still contain within continental or the continental and non-continental US? So in general, yes, National Science Foundation I-Corps is largely focused on the US. You can be reimbursed for travel to international shows, but usually those are exceptional rather than the general rule. But you can, of course, contact folks who are outside, right? If your major market is in Europe, certainly you're not precluded from contacting folks who are not located within the United States. Overall, the intention of the I-Corps program is just to make sure that you have a very solid understanding of the problem that you're trying to solve and the value proposition and the customer segments that are involved, right? Because the true success of any enterprise is really a focused understanding of the problem, right? You'll find that the most successful entrepreneurs typically are the ones that are laser focused on the problem and not laser focused on the solution, right? I'm a scientist and by training, I used to be one of those people who are laser focused on the solution, right? Because that's the shiny bauble, that's the cool tech. But understand that, technology is not a product, right? And that's the mindset that I think you guys have all sort of made the flip to. Yeah, Chris.
Sarah comes from a corporate background, and we've known each other quite a while, worked together at St. Jude Medical and off and on over the years. National I-Corps is aimed at, from NSF and NIH and so on, is aimed at startup teams, basically, and people from academia that want to transfer technology. What does customer discovery or this process of testing your hypotheses about business and the success and how you want to structure the business, what your value is, what does that look like in a corporate setting? Because some of the people in the room, probably the majority of the people in the room, will wind up in a corporate setting in a technical position of one kind or the other.
I think it's very similar, which is observational research. The teams going out, coming up with a hypothesis, going out to the customers, getting, especially my background is in medical device development. So getting advisory boards engaged, showing the physicians what we are working on, getting their feedback, getting prototypes in front of them, and rapid iteration. Some more structured approaches are from Stanford. There's the biodesign process, which is a much more structured approach of going out and just observing the doctors and seeing what they are, what problems do they have, and just study the problem, not come up with the solution. And then once you have identified these problems, then say what could be the potential solutions. So the skills you guys are learning, they're very much applicable in the industry. It just happens at a different scale, where instead of having people from industry, you may be in an OR observing people, what's going on.
Yeah, thank you. And I will echo exactly what you said. So prior to joining Beal Applied Innovation, I was with Danaher for 10 years. And of course, they're famous for their Danaher business systems. And one of the key ingredients to the success of Danaher business system is what's called Gemba. And that's just the Japanese word for basically going to the site and learning what the real problems are. Because hearing a secondhand versus seeing a firsthand, it sounds similar on paper, but actually it's quite different, right? A lot of times people take things for granted when they're, especially for people who are in the process, who are steeped in it, they make assumptions about what they're doing, right? One of the best examples I can give from my own personal experience, there was a project that I was working on while I was at Danaher to look at how to eliminate centrifugation of blood. So sorry, just for context, I was part of a medical diagnostics company. So we're looking at ways of reducing the need for centrifugation, because what's the first thing that a lab tech does when they get your blood to do testing? They centrifuge, right? Because they have to separate out the serum or the plasma, and that's what they analyze. This is a huge pain in the butt, right? Because number one, it's very labor intensive, and oftentimes it's a very error prone process, right? Because it requires a lot of manual intervention. So one of the things that we were looking at is how can you reduce the need for centrifugation or eliminate the need for centrifugation? So we were doing this Gemba exercise, and we actually went to diagnostics labs like Quest, LabCorp, Hospital Core Labs, and we asked them straight up. We said, "Hey, why do you centrifuge? Or what if you didn't have to centrifuge?" And the funniest thing is, most of the time, the response that we got was, "What do you mean? You have to centrifuge? You have to, right? Because that's what they know. That's what they know, right? That's the process that they've lived with forever. So they don't realize, they don't necessarily see the problem that centrifugation isn't what's needed. What's needed is the separation of the blood components, right? And that's really the critical part. So sometimes, talking to customers is very important, but also being able to step back to see ultimately what is the problem that you're trying to solve. All right, it's the synthesis of that information that you're getting that is really critical, right? And that's a skill that takes repeated honing, and this sort of exercise is exactly how you get there. So I think we're good on awardees. So let me hand this back to Joanne.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for all the questions that got us to this very moment today. All right, so I did double check the numbers just in case. I'm going to get this to the right slide. But we have a few prizes here for, in particular, third place, which we actually got a tie between our third places. So we will figure something else out on the back end. But for the third place, there's a $25 gift card along with a ULP gift bag, which has ULP branded socks as well as a Yeti tumbler. And that team, the two teams are Phoenix is one. Congratulations. As well as Nasivor. Congratulations. Next up for our second place is a $75 gift card. That is for Tempo Gluco. And finally, for our first place, our top performer today is with a $100.50 gift card. That is for Face Value. And so to wrap up today, congratulations to you all. I want to say a thank you to all of our speakers and instructors, Chris, Kevin, Matt, Stephen, Bree, Michael, Matt Lee. And without their expertise, we would not be able to be here today. Thank you to our judges, our sponsors and partners, SoCal Bio, University Lab Partners, as well as UCI's Be All Applied Innovation. And finally, congratulations to our 2023 Industry Insights for STEM Scientist Program participants. Enjoy the reception and have a fun and safe holiday season. Thank you, everyone.